Terry, yourself, George, and Jeff are all part of this wonderful committee on the history of the ground vehicle systems for SAE. For the listeners who aren't familiar with it, besides loving cars, could you tell us a little bit about the committee, please?
I can look into that. So we actually, with the SAE History of Ground Vehicle Systems Committee, is to document vehicle systems and subsystems design chronology for the evolution of supporting SAE standards. So we are kind of like, the way I look at us, we're the gatekeepers of data information on historical vehicles. And that to us stimulates why we're part of this committee. For example, I'm a welding engineer, and back then they actually had procedures to weld up truck springs for when they broke on the farm, and they actually had procedures for that and everything else. And we I do believe Jeff's into body structures, and George, and we are kind of a group of enthusiasts who actually have an engineering background, and we want to save this information. And the way we're saving this information is we're establishing through SAE a library. So people who want to extrapolate this information for their own personal use or to learn from the past, because sometimes you have to learn from the past to figure out the future. And that's the whole concept of this committee.
Is it the whole different parts of the vehicle architecture, or what systems is it exactly?
Systems as a vehicle as a whole. So that means we have used to have an expert who was electrical. Jeff was bodies. I'm welding, mechanical as well. George was working for Toyota in the body side. We're just a gather of engineering enthusiasts, and it goes from bumper to bumper. Best way for me to put it. So we want to go and get enthusiastic, be the gatekeepers of this information, because once it's gone, it's gone. And it's amazing. People forget how advanced we have been in the past 100 years. Perfect example, if you look at a 1982 Monte Carlo with a 350, it puts out 140 horsepower. Now we have a 2020 Honda Civic SI that puts out 220 with 1.5 liters. We want to make sure that people remember that history and how the industry has grown.
Jeff, the history is really impactful, and you can, if you want to use the term, unpack and learn a lot from it. Do you get engagements from universities or high school shop classes that want to learn from this data, potentially put it into their curriculum in schools?
I guess one of the things that we need to kind of talk about is we're really sort of relaunching this committee. So that's something that could be there in the future. I mean, as we look at, who the audience is here, we're looking at is, Terry's mentioned enthusiasts, collectors, certainly engineers who are working in the industry, just from a standpoint of understanding how a system evolved. But, as we mature, we could certainly see some kind of outreach there, because it's a motive and a vision to really look at sort of this intersection, because we can talk about how does vehicle systems evolve. As Terry mentioned, we're looking top to bottom. I mean, we look at vehicle attributes like safety, MVH, package, but we'll go to the component level, and that information can serve multiple needs. And I think the key thing here is, as Terry mentioned, we're tying back to what was the role of SAE when we look at a particular system. So it's standards that developed along the way. I mean, SAE was formed, very early in the early 1900s, 1912, I think. So what is that progression where SAE was involved in sort of shaping development of vehicle systems?